Laura, Laura, she was a track star, Laura, but the coach pushed her too far, Laura. Now she's dead now, Laura. She was gonna be married, yes, Laura, to her high school sweetheart, poor Laura. But now her sister's back for Laura, who wants to get revenge for Laura, the poor girl Laura. I'm John Rant with the retro review of Graduation Day from 1981, and after that terrible, terrible rendition of Laura Branigan's Gloria, let's talk about this slasher from Troma Pictures. My goodness, Troma. Troma. If you're not familiar with Troma films, Troma, they will definitely cause trauma. The people who did Toxic Avenger and a few others. They're not particularly great movies. In fact, even calling them kind of good is really stretching it. They're comedic, ridiculous, and at times over-the-top gory and ridiculous. This one was a generic slasher where Laura... Okay, I'll stop that. Was a track star that was pushed too far by Coach Michaels, played by Christopher George, in a hilarious over-the-top performance. He's pretty much the only actor trying in this, and he just goes full balls to the wall, rage and anger and everything. He's not driven by fear, he's just driven by anger. Oh no, and he's around a whole bunch of kids. Well, nevertheless, enough about Fayetteville, Georgia, June 23rd and June 24th of 2007. If you get it, you get it. This was written and directed by Herb Freed. He's freed to do what he wants any old time. He did Beyond Evil and Haunts. That's not like, a typo. That's the actual movie. It's called Haunts. It had something to do with killings on a farm. I probably should watch that if it's anywhere available. But more retro reviewing for Horror Movie Month. Why the hell not? This is also written by Anne Marie. So I thought that was Annalise. I knew a girl named Annalise in school. She was really, really nice. She also wrote Haunts. The story was by David Braun, or Bon, rather. Bong. Okay, enough of that. He did the story for Beyond Evil. And this stars, again, Christopher George. It has Patch McKenzie, who I just want to say right now looked really, really good here. Really, really good. She was hot as hell here. She plays Anne, who is the older sister of Laura. Okay, I'll stop that. I'm sorry. And then there are other actors, like Kevin, played by his last E.D. Murphy is just how I'm going to say. He had E.D. No wonder Laura decided to pass on. I kid, of course. There is Blondie. No, not call me. E.J. Peeker. Me. And there were various other people in this. Nobody really of serious note, though there are some familiar faces you will see. And in the beginning, there was rap. There was, as Dr. Dre once said, and I'm sure as other rap artists said. So we get synth disco music over track. And I don't mean over like various tracks. I mean over literal track and field stuff happening. There's a high school track team. There's Laura, the standout star. She's being pushed and pushed and pushed. The coach is like, come on, push through it, push through it, push through it. He's not being mean. He just wants her to be the best. And she makes it. Then she dies. She dies of something. She dies of a blood clot somewhere. He really is like Laura Branigan. Wow, that's really mean to the memory of Laura Branigan. For no goddamn reason I decided to pick on her. Rest in peace, Laura Branigan. So let's just talk about the rest of this. I don't know how the disco and synth track went together, but it kind of did. Unfortunately, this is pretty much the peak. Anne arrives, because why the hell not? She's her older sister that was in the Navy and sailed the seven seas in the Navy. You could set your mind at ease. She was in Guam, but her dad is a drunk because Laura is now gone. Okay. I think I've ruined enough songs for one review. Let's move on to the rest. A trucker guy is harassing her. Like, he's giving her a ride. She's hitchhiking. But seriously, maybe don't harass women. Maybe make sure you can get what you want from somebody willing. Don't actually, if you want to sleep with somebody, make sure they want to sleep with you or whatever. Don't actually grope them. Don't do this shit. What the fuck is going on with society? I know it was 1981, but it shouldn't have even happened then or at any point. Christopher George, by the way, reminded me of John Carradine near the end of his career and life, so pretty much near the end of his life, because look at John Carradine in his later movies. He made no sense at all. So, Anne's mother is fine, Dad's a drunk, and the dad's yelling at her, like, you went away while your sister died a few days ago. Seriously, there not a lot of time passed between her coming back and right after the sister died. But it's graduation day, but somebody is taking revenge in the form of a fencing helmet and a fencing sword. This does not look like I'm operating a fencing sword at all. This looks really, really bad. Moving on, let's just talk about the fact that none of the deaths are really particularly all that good. They're hilarious. The camera work is absolute shit. If this movie cost more than $1 million, I would be amazed. In fact, I don't even think Troma knows how to knows what they could do with $1 million if they even tried. So what ends up happening is they basically everybody ends up getting killed eventually. We have, you can even hear that somebody is very, very vocal about the fact that I'm talking about a Troma movie right in the house. So nevertheless, the acting is complete shit. People get knifed through the throat. A football player gets a sword in a football and handed back to him. It's absolutely hilarious. Christopher George is having delightful rage. He was the coach, but then after that track star died, he was fired. Mere days before graduation. And also there's the principal yelling a lot. He's yelling a lot at his assistant, his secretary, that he has in the sack, literally, secretary as it were, secretariat, and then a musical teacher, as opposed to an unmusical teacher. A music teacher is has a student that comes on to him, literally, to get a good grade. Somebody apparently taped this because he hears rapping, gently tapping on the chamber pipes. He goes into this one particular basement boiler room area that every school apparently has, and what ends up happening is he ends up getting, he just ends up seeing these kids, oh, I know who you are, you taped me, and I'll find you, and it's like the least intimidating teacher ever. Things will just happen, and then characters will just disappear. Sometimes you don't even know if they're goddamn dead. They'll just disappear. The coach basically says, one kid gets a blood clot and I'm through. Again, Christopher George being absolutely delightful here. But the movie is shit. The movie's really shit. There's an inspector who shows up. There is a cop also, McGregor, that picks on a couple kids that are smoking pot. And also there's a boy named Kevin who really did love Laura. And he appreciates Anne coming back to be with them or be, around and honor the memory of her sister. And Kevin really appreciates Anne. Like, hey, we've known each other for a while and everything, but I loved Anne. All this stuff. And I live in the house with my grandma and some really weird stuff. And you haven't noticed any of the weird carvings or that strange smell that's been coming from the second floor, have you? You haven't noticed that. In case you can't tell, I'm basically telling you who the killer is. It was Kevin. They kind of insinuated it could have been Anne at first. But then at one point... this one guy, oh Jesus, god damn it. This one football player, after he gets killed with a freaking, the sword through the football, he is built like a Sega Genesis or Mega Drive Madden player. Look at him. It's insane. Various people get killed. One guy gets his head taken off. It's clearly a mannequin head. They didn't even try to hide this stuff. And then this girl gets chased through. The killer's there in sweats and a fencing helmet and a sword, except this didn't look like a fencing sword. This looked like one of those swords that you would use in a stage play, a possible stage play in high school, like Robin Hood. I was in a stage play of Robin Hood where we hammered out pipes into swords. I got a concussion from one of those because one of them hit me in the head. We were safe in high school in my days. So anyway, it's not the coach, because the coach is just packing up. But they insinuate that it could be. No, it's Kevin. It's Kevin, because Kevin was upset at the coach and decided to kill everybody on the track team, mark out their faces, and then he framed the coach. The coach ended up getting shot because they had a bit of a fight after Sally, who's one of the random girls, gets discovered in a locker, which was Laura's locker. Laura! Okay, enough of that. And they have a face-off. They have an argument. Bully, bully, bully. They have a fight. And the coach picks up the knife like, you just confessed to me and I'm gonna... And then he gets shot. So Kevin, it turns out actually is the killer, obviously, as I just told you. Anne is talking to the principal secretary, Blondie. Call me! And they literally do call her. All of these parents that are wondering where the hell their kids are. All these kids have just disappeared on graduation day. This high school has terrible security. Absolutely terrible security. But nevertheless, what ends up happening is the secretary just dumps some stuff on her. Like, well, it's like, wait, why do you want Laura's, graduation trophy or track trophy? Kevin took it. He said that you said it was okay. Oh, let me go to his house. Oh, why is the body of my sister up here? Yeah, the corpse of his sister, or of her sister, up there. We were going to be married. Why don't you say hi to your sister? What's wrong with you? I'm not delusional. What the hell are you talking about? And then in one of the most hilarious scenes, this is when the movie basically comes alive. Some of the death scenes are all right. She has a bit of a fight with him, pushes the rocking chair that the body's in over into him. They fall out this sugar glass window, and they end up on the ground. Now, they fell out of a 2-story window. Okay. And suddenly, she opens the door, and she has to hide right by the door because Kevin has no peripheral vision. He just suddenly carries her body back in. How'd you not see her? But he did see her because she runs to the track. Field day. Oh shit, Kevin is here to kill me. And all these bodies, by the way, are hidden under the bleachers. All these people that he killed are somehow just there. None of this makes any sense. And what ends up happening is they have a bit of a fight, a really, really bad fight. There was one cool scene I forgot to mention where a guy did a pole vault and then landed on the crash pad thing that they have. But there were all these swords and spikes in there and he got killed. And then Kevin ends up getting stabbed and killed. Because he ends up on the... he ends up just basically dying because he gets stabbed by, various things after being pushed into a dead body that was killed by a whole bunch of stuff. Oh no! That was the pole vault guy. I think. I don't know. They all look alike to me. All crackers look alike to me. Hey, wait a minute. And then Anne's all upset. She's sleeping. Suddenly Kevin is back. And he's going to attack her, but no, it's the dad with the liquor bottle. Because he's like, why are you still here? Because he's all drunk. Because he lost his daughter. But also he's treating his older daughter that has been wildly successful in the Navy like an idiot. And then she leaves. That's it. That is it for graduation day. God, this movie sucked. Really, really sucked. You even heard a vocal critic earlier in the review. Nevertheless, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.